let's go. Hi everyone, welcome back to the Kia Hyundai channel. My name is Gabi.
And my name's Mike.
And this isn't the car that we filmed last week. Okay, it is, but it's a little bit different.
Yep.
So it's what's really on the inside that changes, right? That's the difference. And this vehicle is actually a plug-in hybrid as opposed to the hybrid we filmed last week, which means what, Mike?
It has another hole.
You can plug it in, charge it, and then of course drive on full electricity or a full electric range. You have up to 53 kilometers of full electric range on this vehicle, and a bunch of other benefits that come with the benefit of that full EV range. Now on top of that, we also have a different interior package.
Yes.
So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, that's a little bit more why I was excited about this vehicle too. You're going to see it's some of my favorite colors, right? We always talk about this. I always mention it. It's a nice white. I won't say it's white.
Yep. It's like a light gray.
Yes, like a light gray interior, but I definitely love the tones inside. You'll notice a lot, like there's piano black.
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to clear the air right there. But you notice how Hyundai did a slight few changes, right? And kind of like the dimensions and a little bit more action, some brushed aluminum, I think it's called, in there. So you guys will see that, and it really gives it a nice classy look inside.
Yeah, and as always, this is a live stream video, meaning that we're doing this in real time, no script, no nothing. So if anything happens, like if the internet stops working and the video buffers, please let us know, or if our voice cuts out, so we can adjust as needed. And with that being said, I think I'm going to point out a couple of reasons why we do these videos, as well as warn you that this intro is always long, but if you want to get into the main walk around version or part of the video, skip to the 3 to 4 minute mark. That's when we'll actually get into the car. So the first reason why we do these videos is so you have all the information you need when it comes to your car. So whether you drive a Kia or a Hyundai, whether it's a newer one, older one, hybrid, electric, gas, doesn't matter. We've done a video on it, and we covered just about everything there is to know about these cars. Number two.
Yeah, number two, if you are interested or you're looking for buying a car and you haven't considered a Kia or a Hyundai, we definitely would like you to consider one. For all the reasons in number one, we give you videos jam-packed with information to help you compare our vehicles with the other vehicles you're looking at and make your decision. Number three? Number three
is we can actually sell you a car. So we have 3 different dealerships: Brantford Kia, where we film every day; Brantford Hyundai, where Mike works at, and it's about 10 minutes down the road; as well as Owen Sound Hyundai, which is a bit further up north here in Ontario. Now with that being said, all these dealerships are located within Ontario, which is in Canada. We can only sell within our province. So I'm so sorry if you're from out of town, or not out of town, out of the province or out of the country. We wish we could help you out in the sales department, but unfortunately, we cannot. We totally wish we could. But we still thank you for your support.
Yeah, and then we're happy to teach you guys a little bit more about your vehicle.
Yeah, for sure. All right, now I think we'll start off with the walkthrough of the car.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So the powertrain is very similar to what we have in the regular hybrids. We're going to feature a 1.6 liter turbocharged gasoline direct injection engine. So with that, you have 261 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. That's a lot of power. When you think hybrid, plug-in hybrid, you don't always think, wow, this is going to be a lot of fun to drive. But the Hyundai Tucson makes that complete new experience. So it's tons of fun to drive. It's a great handling vehicle, and of course it's efficient. You actually get 2.8 liters electric per 100 kilometers when driving this car. So that is of course using its hybrid component, a mix of that electricity and that gasoline. Mike, you're shaking your head. What's up?
Nothing.
All right, I'm going to turn on the lights and pop the hood. So Mike, I'll meet you back at the front.
Oh, okay. I got ahead of myself there.
Yeah. So for our headlights, these are full LEDs and they are projections. I just got to turn the fan down a little bit so it's not too noisy. Mike had the heat on full blast. It's not like it's cold here or anything.
Did I have it on AC? That's why it was so cold on the way here. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, it was cold outside.
So full LED headlights, these are projection lights, meaning that they're very bright, they project. You also have full intelligent high beam assist, meaning that as I'm driving my vehicle, if my high beams are on, it will automatically shut them off if it senses another vehicle approaching, and then turn them right back on again as things get clear. Looking at our front grille, it is a dark chrome grille, so you get that benefit of a nice shiny chrome, but it looks black in some lighting as well too. So the best of both worlds. It's also quite easy to clean, and watermarks aren't too noticeable on them. So if you're like me, that's a bonus. I did talk about our engine and horsepower specs, but let's take a look underneath. I'm not going to prop it up just because. You can see there's our 1.6 liter turbo engine. And then highlighted in orange, we have some hybrid components. Now, when you get to the plug-in hybrid, you are going to have the addition of a 66.9 kilowatts electric motor, and that's where you're gonna get that 53 kilometers of all-electric range. Another big difference between this and the hybrid, other than the powertrain, is the price. So this is gonna be about $5,500 more expensive than the regular hybrid. But here in Canada, you do get a $5,000 federal rebate, so incentive, and depending on your province, you might get a larger incentive on top of that. So kind of evens out at the end of the day.
Sweet.
I'll follow up to the side of the vehicle where we'll take a look at our wheels. These are 19-inch alloy wheels, and they look stunning. I'll try to take the sticker off the center.
Yeah, let's unveil it. What kind of car is this?
Oh, I totally can't get it.
Oh, I don't want to see a nail crack or break.
No, don't worry. Trust me, there is a Hyundai badge
I got it.
underneath there.
You can keep talking.
Yep. So, like I said, 19-inch alloy wheel. Very beautiful design. Stickers are very high quality, great adhesive. They do not want to come off. Wow.
There we go.
All right, and then around our wheel arches, we do have plastic molding, great for our salty Canadian winters. For our mirrors, this is a body color mirror, and at the very bottom, you'll notice that we do have a side view camera. This camera is going to be utilized whenever you trigger a turn. So if it's a lane change or a full left or right turn, you're going to get a full live view of whatever's in your blind spot. All right, Hyundai's classic parametric design is heavily shown on our doors. So you notice it looks like some origami folds, some nice clean lines. And this, I think, makes the vehicle look very, very futuristic, as opposed to something like Kia's alternative or Kia's sister car. We have the Kia Sportage right over there, which has a bit more round styling, if that makes sense.
Oh.
Let me know what you guys think. We have both cars in the same room right now. They take a very different design approach, and I think there's benefits for either. But
They're gonna fight after this video.
yeah,
the cars.
but this is the one we're talking about today, so let's continue. All right, coming up to the back, we do have the removal of a rear wiper. Just kidding, it's stuck underneath the rear spoiler. So it is still there. It's just protected from ice, dirt, mud, you know, all things that we experience here in Canada. On the back of the vehicle, we do have rear parking sensors. Now those will beep at you if you do get too close to something. So think if you're backing into your garage because you're gonna plug in your plug-in hybrid, your vehicle will let you know as you get too close. And then of course you do have a very high quality, high definition backup camera that will show you what's going on around you. Not only do you have a backup camera, I did mention our side view cameras. There's one in the front too. So when all those cameras work together in a sort of hybrid function, there's a lot of hybrids on this car, we get a full 360 view of everything around your car from the top down, which I'll show you when we get inside. Speaking of get inside, let's take a look.
Hold on, let's back it up because people want to know what I meant by an extra hole.
Oh.
So we've got the gas.
Yep.
Wah wah.
Gas door.
So we've got the gas door right here. Standard.
Yep. And might I say, it is a turbocharged engine, but you only need regular unleaded fuel.
Oh, that's awesome. And
Cost
then we
savings.
have the extra one. So that's the plug-in hybrid piece of this vehicle.
10 to 80% full, or not full, 10 to 80% charge in less than 2 hours with this vehicle. So you can expect to get a full charge around 2.5 hours.
I like how they put them both at the back and not like the electric
the
at
front,
the front.
one in the
Yeah,
back,
it's just a little more
It's more
balanced.
cohesive.
Yes. Okay, so this is the interior we're talking about here.
Yes, so light gray interior, you can see the design elements extend also onto the door. Now, because I just mentioned the word door and we're filming a Tucson, I have to talk about this beautiful, clean line that I feel the need to talk about it. So take a look over here. Starting right over here, following all the way to the very front where we're meted with our memory seat functions and projecting into the center dash of the vehicle, incorporating our air vents, and then going right back to the passenger side door. I absolutely love this.
To the back.
Yep. I'm a total geek for a design like this, and I think it makes this car look so clean, so sleek, and so luxurious. Speaking of luxurious, when you do get the Ultimate trim, you're gonna have just about everything you could think of with this car. So we'll talk about some of the safety features, comfort features, and then of course tech features that are equipped. While we're on the topic of tech, actually, I'll quickly point out our speakers. These are a premium sound system, and they are Bose to be exact. So one of our best sound systems available for our Hyundai, Kia, or Genesis models. When it comes to the seat, it is a powered driver's seat. You also have the inclusion of lumbar support, so you can get yourself into the perfect seating configuration. And then like I showed earlier, these are memory seats, or a memory seat for the driver. So if you do share your vehicle with another driver, your seat settings can be saved, and that also incorporates your mirrors. Right. we get all set up, I'm gonna quickly talk about what we have over here. So there are a couple different buttons. This is gonna be your light switch that can easily dim or brighten the screen ahead of you. So, I mean, with everything being digitized, it's really nice to have a quick access to that so you don't have to dig through more screens to change it. To the right of that, we have our power lift gate. Well, we didn't talk about the trunk space. We'll do that at the end. Traction control, on or off, and then our fuel door release. For the steering wheel, this is a leather-wrapped and heated wheel with our Bluetooth and voice commands on the very left and some driver functions on the right. So let's talk about driver functions. A lot of people know about the Bluetooth controls. This is new. So over here, we have our button that's going to allow us to change what we see on our digital gauge cluster. This gauge cluster is 10¼ inches. It's huge and it projects a lot of useful driver information. As I cycle between our different menus, you can see your EV range with your gasoline mix, your navigation, or compass I should say, all-wheel drive torque distribution, tire pressure, and even your driver attention level, which hopefully is good. On the right side, I might take this from you, Mike.
Yeah, because the steering wheel is a little smaller, so it's tough to get in there.
This button is going to allow us to turn on or off our cruise control. We'll set our speed with this toggle here, and then set our following distance with this distance controller right at the very bottom. This is going to allow me to choose between 4 different presets, and it will adjust all the way up to a complete stop if we hit stop and go traffic. On the left, we have our steering controls. So this button is going to illuminate, there she is, that little steering wheel icon, and that makes it so our camera that's located right over here that watches the lanes ahead of you has access to your steering controls. So as we're driving and there's a curve in the road, my car will actually take corrective action and slightly steer for me. It's not going to make a full left or right turn, but it will greatly assist you on long road trips, especially if you're someone who does a lot of highway driving like me to and from work. This is a lifesaver. It is so, so nice, and it still responds to my driver input. So if I have to swerve, something's on the road, it's still going to listen to me, which is very nice. All right, I'm going to have Mike join me on the passenger side now. I promise we'll get into the trunk space, and I'll talk a little bit more about some of the safety settings of this vehicle, safety settings and safety systems.
Can't say, I promise I'll get into the trunk space.
Yeah. Now, okay, so light gray interior, we talked about that, but let's talk about the passenger seat. Sometimes it doesn't get enough love. I will say this is a powered passenger seat, and both of our front seats are heated and ventilated. So warm weather, cold weather, your butt's comfortable. Come on in, Mike. Experience the seating.
As I come in, I'm welcomed by my little illuminated side slot there, which is nice.
Yeah, there's a good amount of storage at the very bottom, and
cool.
It does have illumination from the ambient lighting. So whatever color you set it to, you get a beautiful glow on all of your, I guess, high touch and high object material or areas. So this is typically where I'd throw my car keys or maybe my phone, and the fact that it's lit up is a lifesaver. Yeah,
big time.
We have a USB over there, a 12 volt in the very center.
Hold on, let me get that. Okay, whoa, it's fighting me. Okay, go ahead, sorry.
So USB, a 12 volts, and then another USB on the very right. Now you may be asking, where's the wireless phone charger? I thought this was fully loaded. It is, don't worry about that. It's right over here. So this is gonna be a pain in the butt to film.
No, I got it, yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Surprisingly.
Yep, so you just drop your phone in there and it'll charge without a cord. Now there is something you will need a cord for in this car, and this is CarPlay and Android Auto. So whether you have an Apple phone or an Android phone, you will need to have your phone's charging cable, allowing you to access your wired CarPlay. This will allow you to use your Spotify, your Apple Music, your Waze, Google Maps, Apple Maps, whatever kind of systems you use, right on your screen, and it's super, super seamless. Honestly, it's instant when you do have a wired connection because it doesn't rely on Bluetooth. So I will say that. While we're also on the topic of up here, piano black haters, beware. There's a lot of piano black over here, but I promise you it looks phenomenal and the system works fantastic. So right up here, we have some volume controls. These are haptic buttons, as well as map, navigation, a favorite that you can preset to do whatever you'd like, your typical seek and track, and then a quick access to radio media and your setup controls. Just below that, we have our climate control panel. So it is a dual zone climate vehicle, meaning that I can have my temperature set to something and then Mike can have his at a separate temp, or we can sync everything up and everyone's happy. Let's turn that off though. And I want to talk about something that's exclusive to our hybrid EV and plug-in hybrid vehicles, and that is the driver only function. So this button is going to allow the vehicle to only heat or cool down or keep a stable temperature for the driver area. This definitely helps when it comes to efficiency. If you are a commuter, you don't have anyone else in the car with you, or you just don't care if they're comfortable or not, it's truly going to help a little bit when it comes to your efficiency. So bonus points. Up at the top, we have another 10.25-inch display. This has built-in navigation and also has access to Sirius XM. The touchscreen is super easy to use and it looks phenomenal. On your quick home screen, you can see we have a little glimpse of our map, the date and time, all that good stuff. Then as we slide over, we have a lot of menus, so let's try to go over them. Right first, we have our PHEV menu. So this is going to allow us to see some of our PHEV driving dynamics and just some info. If you're a first-time hybrid owner, this is a great tool to kind of understand your vehicle and how it's working. So let's make this a full screen and talk about what we see. First up, under energy flow, this is going to show you what your vehicle is doing as it's doing it. So right now it's not actually on, the engine's not on, the electric motor isn't on, the car's just running accessory mode. As I was driving, if I'm going heavy uphill, my heat's on full blast, my car's in sport mode, it's primarily going to be using a lot of engine power with the assistance of our electric motor and our battery. Now, let's say we're coasting downhill, driving slowly, or just driving, like a normal person, you're going to be using a lot of your electric motor, your battery, that kind of thing. You'll even be able to see when you're actually building power back into your car. Think going downhill or coasting. It's going to show you just about everything that your car is doing internally and helps you get a better understanding of your vehicle. We have done a video on that. If you'd like to check it out, I will link it once this video is posted. Okay, we can also see our EV range. Obviously, this car hasn't been charged. We only have 3 kilometers, but yes.
Oh, we have gas. Whew, I got scared I wasn't getting back.
Yeah, no. So that's the thing with plug-in hybrids. At the end of the day, you still have a gasoline car. So this makes sense for a lot of people, especially my mom. She has one. She has a Sorento PHEV. Absolutely loves it because she can get to work on full EV, but she doesn't have to worry about always charging her phone. She doesn't have to worry about that either. She has a wireless phone charger. But she doesn't have to constantly worry about driving her car, which is great because we never got a charger installed at her house. So very nice. She can charge it at home or charge it at work, get home, get back, and she's fine. All right. Charge management, energy information, and then eco driving. All right. Back here, you have quick access to your map, your navigation, and you can, of course, save addresses into your address book. There's also a dedicated quiet mode, valet mode, and even a climate menu. Under setup is where you'll play around with some more personalized or customized things like your driver safety information. So if you're somebody who does not prefer some of the vehicle's driver assistance features, that's no problem. You can turn them off. However, I highly suggest maybe just making tweaks to them because there's a lot you can change. If you find things are too sensitive, you can dull them down a bit. If the warnings are too loud, you can soften them. There's so much you can do to make this vehicle more you and just more, driver friendly. So let's take a look. Under driving convenience is where you can go to turn on your highway driving assist or shut it off. There's also something called highway auto speed change, which means this vehicle is going to know the speed limit changes on the highway that you're on and change it for you. If you're not a fan of that, don't worry. You can single out which ones you want on and which ones you want off. Oh boy. We also have our warning methods. If you find they're too loud, this is where you'll go to actually change them. So Mike, I'll have you show that.
Well, the issue is with that, when everybody's going 10 over, right? Like you have to flow with traffic or you're either...
Yeah, and that's where something like some of these features I personally find myself turning off, even though I do love some of them, just because it's not always as applicable to real life driving.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? So that's why it's great that you can adjust things. Forward safety, this is something I always recommend having on. This vehicle will warn you if it detects the risk of a collision. Now, on top of warning you, it will actively brake for you, thus potentially avoiding a crash. Now, this is going to work for pedestrians, cyclists, and even junction turns. So if I'm making a left at a busy intersection or coming out of a parking garage, that's something that I really want working or looking around me because you never know, stuff happens, right? You also have parking collision avoidance in the rear as well too. So if I'm backing out of a busy parking lot, my car is watching, my car is paying attention, and it will warn me if it detects the risk of a crash. All of these systems have been tried and true by staff at our dealership. I literally have a video of us trying to hit our manager with a car, and the car just wouldn't let us. So,
and trust me, the braking,
trust me, we tried.
The braking for you, that's kicked in for me a few times, I won't lie.
It's a great feature to have,
It's a wake-up call, too.
For sure. Over here is where we're going to find a lot of our comfort features, and then, of course, our transmission. How can we put this vehicle into drive? So right up here are our seat controls, heat and ventilation, our camera button, parking sensors, downhill braking assist, heated steering wheel.
That thing.
And then the same seating configurations for our passenger or driver. Right up here, we have our drive and terrain mode select, so I can switch it between drive and terrain, and then even switch what mode I'm in. So take a look at our gauge cluster. First, we have eco mode, which makes sense in a hybrid vehicle. Sport mode is going to give us a little extra get up and go. And then smart mode, which is going to adapt to whatever it is we're doing. When I press the button and switch into terrain, we get a mix of snow, mud, and sand. These terrain modes are going to play around with your vehicle's all-wheel drive torque distribution, stability control, and just general throttle response to give you best traction in those conditions. Here's our gear shift. Now this is different. It's called a shift by wire. It is very, very smooth shifting. Now this is tied to a 6-speed automatic, so don't worry, your vehicle doesn't have a CVT. It doesn't have a manual transmission. It's not a dual clutch. It's just a regular automatic. Even though the application to change gears is different, I promise it is very easy, very straight up once you get the gist of it. Electronic parking brake right over here, as well as our auto hold braking function, cup holders, and then just our general center console. Center console is extremely deep and wide in this vehicle, so room for lots of goods. I'll have Mike show the glove box, then we'll take a look at our sunroof and check out the back.
All right. Boom. Glove box.
Cool.
As usual. You know what? If you guys saw the Ionic video last week, I like that glove box because it had kind of like the 2 layers.
Yeah.
But I'm not taking away from this one. Obviously, here's where I put my gloves right when I get in the car because I have a heated steering wheel. Yeah. And I don't need my gloves. But I do when I go outside. Okay, sunroof time.
It's huge.
Massive.
Huge sunroof. Now, I would be a horrible, I don't even want to say car reviewer because I don't know if I can call myself that. But I would be horrible at showing you guys the vehicle if I didn't talk about those full cameras. So the 360 camera that I mentioned earlier, let's have a look. You can see it's very high quality. You get the top-down view and then you get the backup view. If you want to change your different cameras, these are our 2 side views. We have a top-down, which shows you perfectly if you're lining up your vehicle for a trailer. Which, by the way, you can tow up to 2,000 pounds with this car. Woohoo! And then one more thing I want to show is our blind spot cameras in action. So I'm going to turn the car on, and then I'm going to indicate a right turn. Now pay attention to this cluster. We have a live view of whatever would be in my blind spot, essentially. You can also see our rear wheel, so if you are parking up against a curb, you can actually get a good view of just how close you are and if you have to reevaluate your parking skills. So I have to do that quite often. All right, let's take a look at the back.
Why was it so cold in the car?
Yeah, it's freezing. Okay.
Oh, it's cold inside the car, which is strange, right? But yeah.
So these seats, I mean, the car's off right now, so it's not really worth mentioning. But these seats, they're heated.
We promise, see?
I mean, you wouldn't believe it based off how I'm talking and how I'm sitting, but they're heated.
2 levels.
So you get, of course, 3 seats here. Your 2 main seats are extremely wide and comfortable. And like I mentioned, they're heated 2 different levels. In the very center, you have another seat or a cup holder armrest. Everything is in that beautiful gray leather, so it all looks very cohesive, very nice. But you do get the nice breakup of a black seatbelt, which I find, one, helps you find your seatbelt because it's not blended in with the seat. And again, just kind of breaks up the look, makes it look a little bit more fun.
I wouldn't want that color seatbelt because those are harder to clean than actual
Exactly.
leather. Yes.
Now, with that being said, white or lighter interiors scares so many people. I will say when it comes to stains and maintenance of these seats, it's not bad at all. So a lot of people say we have stain-free leather. And I will say yes, except there's probably some things you could get in your car that just won't come out. Think red wine. Not that you should be having red wine in your car, but
spray paint.
Spray paint, yeah. But when it comes to just regular household, if you have kids, pets, no problem.
Oh, prune juice. No, someone would drink prune juice,
yes. Yeah. Cherry juice, that kind of thing. That's going to be a little harder, especially if you let it sit, but I promise these seats are not too much harder to maintain. Back here, of course, these seats do recline, so I will show that. If you want a little bit more of a relaxed feel, and then you can get a beautiful look out of the sunroof. Each of these car seats do have Each of these seats do have car seat tethers. And then we have air vents and 2 USBs at the very bottom. On the back of the driver and passenger seat, there is also a mesh pocket, meaning that you can store your goods away in there. And it's just generally quite comfy. It's a very nice back seat experience for sure. We'll show you the trunk space, talk a little bit about it, and then take a look at some of the questions. Mike, you're shaking your head again. What's up?
I see all the comments.
Are the comments bad?
No, I was just, my neck has a twitch in it, let's say, but no, they're not bad. It's just funny.
All right. Back here, a ton of space, just like the Tucson we filmed last week. You do get the nice accessibility when it comes to knocking down the rear seats. So you have levers on both the left and right side to knock them down.
Got our carpet still in bag here.
Yep.
And bam.
So a little bit of storage space back here. This is your level 1 charger that comes with the car. A lot of our plug-in hybrid drivers seem to make do with just a level 1 charger, but let's say you have an EV at home or you just want to get a level 2, no problem. Like I mentioned, you can expect a full charge in around 2 to 2.5 hours. So with 10 to 80 being 1.7 hours, just under 2. Yeah, all right. I think that's a good look at the trunk.
Yep, there it is.
There it is. All right, when it comes to badging, I realize I didn't talk too much about it. We do have our Tucson badge on the left with our hybrid and H-Track all-wheel drive badge on the right. The actual Hyundai emblem is encased in glass.
Can't scrape my nails.
Yeah, which I mean, super easy to clean.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
big time.
And you don't want to have to worry about the emblem falling off.
Yeah, you don't need to worry about people taking that and making a necklace out of it.
Yeah, because that's what I want to do with my car emblem. All right, now coming to the side, we'll get a good look at the taillights as well. Like I mentioned, full LEDs, just like your headlights. Everything's an LED in this car, even the interior lighting.
Yeah, I realized that joke was an old guy joke because that's what they were doing when I was teenagers. People were taking badges off cars and making them to necklaces. Not me, obviously, not me.
And then one last look at the front end. Like I mentioned earlier, the dark chrome grille. Your front camera is located right in the very center. So if you do own this vehicle, a little tip for Canadian winters, you're gonna get a lot of salt on there. Give it a wipe as you knock the snow off your car, just so it's always nice and clean and you get a good view.
Well, you should do that, the back one and the side mirrors.
Yeah, do it with all your cameras.
I did that today and I was like, wow, there's a lot of cameras
now
on
that
this.
I think of it, I don't think I want a car with so much technology. All right. Also up here, we do have our ultrasonic sensors in the front. So just like the back, we're gonna get that beeping anytime we approach something a bit too close. But there's also a feature available in this car that I will show you right now. Mike, can you guess what it is?
No, now I can't.
Also, do you have the key?
No, maybe, yes.
Oh my gosh.
I always put it in the right spot for you now and then put it in my pocket after.
All right, so
that, okay,
yes.
Yeah. No, I didn't want to guess because I didn't want it to hit me in the face.
This key can do so much. It can actually move your car.
Oh, here we go.
So all we have to do is lock the car, press and hold remote start for about 3 to 4 seconds until the car turns on. Oh, the hood's open, so never mind, it won't. We'll close the hood and then we'll try again. Okay. So lock, remote start for 3 to 4 seconds. The car's lights will flash. And then I'm gonna push it on our forward button and check out the car. It's moving. It's gonna hit me. Just kidding, no.
Whoa, yeah.
So, those handy dandy sensors that I showed just a couple seconds ago are what stop the vehicle from hitting myself or other people, or even just things like a garbage can, any sort of obstacle.
Yeah.
So the car is always paying attention, even if you aren't. This feature is extremely helpful if you do have people that park way too close to you and you need to get your car out, because they'll straighten out your wheels and bring your car straight out without hitting anything. So, yeah. All right, let's answer some questions, see what you guys have to say.
I also realize it just doesn't do it, the surface doesn't have to be completely flat. Like it will do it on the slanted surface, which is cool.
It'll do it on an incline. Let's see. Okay, wow, a lot of comments today. This is nuts.
Yeah, now you know why I was shaking my head and smiling.
Charlotte said leave a like for Gabi and Mike. And yeah, if you're watching and you haven't already, please do.
Leave a like for Charlotte for saying that.
Mm-hmm. Let's see.
Thank you, Wes, the end guy, for answering a bunch of questions while you're watching the video too.
Okay, we got a couple questions about the CBC news article and video. Pat's going to come in to talk about that. But yes, so I believe they released it either late last night or early this morning. Got a ton of people sending it over to us.
Is he talking about it today? Should I grab him?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He'll come in.
Oh, is it
He might
today?
just be on the phone.
Oh, there he is.
All right.
Obviously, he's watching. Yes.
Mike, can I use your mic?
Yeah, we all know I don't really need it.
Okay, so there was a CBC newscast article, and I'm going to tell a little story. Bear with me. We decided that we wanted to go to the Platinum Jubilee in the UK and camp out to see the big procession. And while we were there, we were interviewed by the London Sun, and my wife jokingly, they said, well, what are you going to do for a bathroom while you're camping out? And my wife jokingly said, I brought a change of clothes and I'm not going to eat, just making a joke. Scene fades out. There's this article in the London Sun that says, madness, woman won't eat for 3 days so she doesn't have to use the loo.
Did this actually happen?
Yeah. If you
Oh my
Google
gosh.
it, you can read this article. And at the time, my daughter, Charlotte, was pregnant with Evie, and we hadn't told anyone. And so we said it to the reporter and asked her to leave that out. And of course, she puts it in the story. So what's the point? The point is, bad news sells. And so these guys, they fly a drone over the compound to make it look like there's thousands and thousands of Kia cars there. But honestly, guys, those are mostly Hyundais. There actually isn't that many Kia cars.
It's a shared compound.
So what happened was Kia decided that, it's kind of like a global chess match. They're working to get product for Canada, and so they were making some moves. The impact to the Ontario buyers is there's about 600 cars that have been moved back 2 weeks. So instead of getting their car today, they're getting the car, the first week of January. So like as dealers, we were kind of upset because we want to hit our numbers. We want to make sure that our customers get our cars. But really, guys, at the end of the day, 2 weeks is not worth this story and all of the press that's there. So that's pretty much the real story. It's the news just decided that they were going to create something bigger than what it really is. So.
Oh, that's a first.
Yeah. So if you have any questions about that, I'm happy to answer it. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I'll let you guys take over again.
Before we get to the serious question, how did your wife use a washroom, man?
Oh, there was washrooms around. It was just a joke.
Obviously,
It was just a joke.
There's a great example. Is a great example, actually.
My wife loves all things history, and I get sucked into this. And anyways, yada, 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 it was fun.
Yeah.
Someone said, what even is the story?
Yeah, the story is that they're saying that Kia is holding thousands of cars to keep prices up and all this kind of stuff, and that it's really not the case. Like there's
you give
hundreds of cars.
Because we are a real dealership, and we're a Kia dealership, one of our stores are, can you give an insight as to how this is affecting our cars, our customers?
We have about 10 cars that should have been delivered this week that are going to be delivered the first week of January, and so
which is like next week.
Yeah, I'm annoyed.
Yeah.
But it's the presentation of what the CBC said isn't really the major impact. They, for whatever reason, they moved some cars from this year into next year, but it's a pretty small number, and there's not cars sitting for months. Like I checked the average age of the cars in compound, and they've been there for like 6 or 7 days.
Yeah.
So it's stuff that's just arrived. They're not shipping over Christmas. It's really not a story, but it became a story.
Well, Denzel Washington, I'm going to say this, said once, he goes, it's not about who's right. It's about who's first with the news. And while they're trying to be first, the truth gets lost along the way. So this could be an example?
I mean, we wanted the cars today, so we were annoyed, but it's not the end of the world.
I think dealers, obviously, and customers, we want the cars.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
of course.
We don't get paid until we deliver the car.
Right.
So why wouldn't we want the cars?
And for the channel, we want to shoot a whole bunch of new cars all the time. Different types, different colors, different makes, models, trims.
So
every week I have this discussion with Mike. What do you have to film?
anyways,
Nothing.
we still are getting deliveries. We had a Seltos come in today, and our first EV9 just landed like about half an hour ago. So we've got
EV9 content coming tomorrow?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's in being PDI'd right now. So.
Yeah.
I was surprised they didn't reverse the Tucson
No,
Yeah.
you're
highly
here.
anticipated.
Anyways, guys, we always appreciate your support. I had Ryan gave me a heads up that this may be in the chat, and I was already pretty aware of what the situation was. I've talked to our friends at Kia, and yeah, they happened to have Vince on camera, and which was kind of funny because he's not the guy making the decision. He was just communicating. So,
Yep.
yeah. I'll give it back to you.
Any comments that come through, obviously we do check afterwards, after the video's done, filmed, posted, and would be happy to circle back if there's anything new. And you check, I know that, but if there's anything, we'll let you know.
We didn't get too many questions about today's car. That just means you did a really good job explaining it.
Yeah, it's perfect.
But I did just see a question about the EV9. I believe it was Hector. Yeah, he said, can you guys do an EV9 driving video? And the answer is...
Yeah, because it needs to be PDI'd, and we have to drive it 30 kilometers. So we'll film it while we're PDIing it tomorrow.
There's your answer.
Nice.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, other than that, I think we're just about it for done, I guess, for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Pat, thank you so much for addressing.
My pleasure. Guys, have a great day.
All right. Take care. Have a good rest of your day. And we hope to see you on tomorrow's very exciting EV9 video.
Hit that like button though.
I was about to say
before you
music
log
video.
off.
All right.